At the age of 6, Sarah Kilinen, a native of Finland, began her track and field career. She would go to a track and field school where she would do just about anything in track and field, but as she grew up, she found that her avenue would be the hammer throw.
Basically doing everything in track and field. And I was still doing everything after 12 years old when I was 12-year-old. But then I was like, okay, throwing is definitely my thing. And I think I always knew it because I was a lot bigger than everybody else. And like I just had like those natural characteristics that maybe made me more like a thrower. I really fell in love because it's so difficult. Oh my God, I still don't know how to throw hammer. But it's like, it's so fascinating because you can never really master it.
Like all people, Sarah had those she looked up to, one of which she now throws further than.
One Polish, Anita Vlorczyk, she definitely was something, but then also like our Finnish throwers, for example, Merja Korpela, I'm sure that you know that, but she was like one of the biggest hammer throwers in Finland, and now I've actually thrown better than she has ever thrown. First time I realized that, I was like, wait a minute, what is going on here? And it's like, it's crazy.
Kilinen grew up in a small town in Finland. She talked about how no one ever expects to come to the United States for sports, but as a self-claimed rebel, Kilinen had other plans. She would move out of town alone for high school to train specifically for track and field. Through this time, Sarah left her European bubble and began to learn about the NCAA and the opportunities overseas for student athletes. She received some pushback from her family, especially from her sister.
That was the time when I was like, wait a minute, is this like possible? Like, I didn't even know that this whole NCAA exists, or like at that point I was just like so in our own bubble. My parents and my sister, especially my sister, she was like, oh my God, come on, you're not gonna go anywhere, so just stop talking about that all the time. But then it was like, just watch me.
Her recruitment brought her two options for college, LSU or Virginia Tech.
I was in high school and I was like, couldn't sleep, so I was just like dreaming about my future life, like always, everybody, I guess. I was initially thinking about going to LSU because I really liked the coach over there, and I was thinking about like, that was like the battle, Virginia Tech or LSU.
But once she took her official visit to Virginia Tech, she felt at home and made her decision.
I had my official visit here right before COVID, and I don't know, it just, I hate to say this because everybody's saying that it felt like home, but it actually did. Like oh my God, this is just like so cozy place. Like, I don't know, people were so nice, and like, I don't know, it was just, it felt right. So then I was like, okay, I think this is it. And actually seeing the campus, seeing all the people here, and having a lot of international people in the team too, like that made a big impact on my decision to come here.
Though once Kilinen found herself in Blacksburg, she struggled early, having no one.
Probably the biggest one in the beginning was that I didn't know anybody. Well, okay, that's also for everybody else as well, but also I didn't know anybody who I can talk to in my own language.
The speech barrier Kilinen had to break through was extremely tough for her to start, and she felt as if she had lost herself.
When you're taking that part away completely, it really destroyed me. I was so ready to go home after the first semester. I was just not able to like say or like even tell people who I was, who I am, who I'm coming from, or like where I'm coming from, like what I want to do, or like, of course I have these words and I can like use them, but it's still like understanding the language of English like it's so much simpler language than Finnish, and I feel like in Finnish I would have so much to say. Like I have so many like different ways to express how who I am and all that, but in English it was all taken away, and I was just like, well, I don't know who I am, and I really like shut down. And that was like really, like that has absolutely never happened in my life.
Through her teammates, she found her place in Blacksburg.
So we had this one thrower from Netherlands, Eni Doet, who was really supportive. She like, because she was going through the exact same emotions, like just 2 years or 2 years before me. So I think I got really good like support from her. And
in 2022, Killinan would find herself in a new position, one where she had become the only woman in ACC and Virginia Tech history to throw for over 70 meters in the hammer throw.
I really don't know even if I have any words to describe that, but like, because I have, that time, I think I had already cried more tears than in my whole life before coming to the States. And now, in 2022, like finally, I got some like actual results, and I was like, okay, oh my God, life is not so bad after all, and maybe it was a good decision to come to the States and be in NCAA and all that. So yeah, I mean, I don't even know how to like describe that, because it was just like that, especially that for fall too, but then that winter and spring, that was also like, I was so like, I mean, not as miserable as in the freshman year or like the first semester, but I was very much struggling still with the culture shock and everything. So I do think that it was really something that I hope that I will never forget that moment when I threw that, and especially because it was also in NCAAs, and I didn't even understand how big of a deal NCAA championships is. So yeah, throwing that there, it was like, I was just like, I don't know, it was just like, it was great. It was great.
This is Jake Scarborough reporting from Virginia Tech.